Oh my God.
Hello and welcome to Your Voice Dorset podcast, where today I'm going to be interviewing Magic by Alfie, a very well-known magician here in Dorset, and we're going to be speaking about his journey to becoming a magician and joining the magic circle, all the way to winning the National Wedding Industry Awards 2025. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to Your Voice Dorset podcast. I'm your host today, I'm Jecs, and I'm very excited to welcome a guest who I'm hoping doesn't disappear throughout the podcast. This is Magic by Alfie. Don't actually know your surname, Alfie.
I don't.
Nobody does. You're just like the famous Dorset magician, Magic by Alfie.
Yeah. We can go into that. We can go into my real name, and it'll be the first time probably I've ever spoken about it in this environment. So,
wow. Please do tell.
Yeah. Okay. Some of you may know this, but my first name is actually Matt. Alfie is a stage name. It all started when I first got into magic about 15 years ago. So I was studying for geography at university, and I was bored at uni, as I'm sure most folks are when they're studying the dissertation. And I came across magic actually through a flatmate of mine who was doing a few card tricks on a night out, and he had this massive crowd of people around him. And I looked at it, I thought, that looks pretty good fun. Literally 20 people around him, cheering, clapping, and he had all that attention. So I went up to him at the end of the trick and I said, "You've got to tell me how you just did that card trick." And he said, "I can't tell you."
No,
that's the number one rule in magic. I'm not going to tell you. And I was like, "You're joking." He's like, "I can't tell you." So I went away. I went back that night, went onto YouTube, and I typed in easy card tricks onto YouTube. And after one or two tricks, I was hooked. I grabbed a deck of cards. I was then in my room every single day for the next couple of weeks, and I was just practicing this one or two tricks. And I then took it out to the clubs. And I had similar reactions where you had people just gravitating to you because you were something different, something new. And it was like a drug to have that amount of attention on you. For a skill that I'd only literally just learned. So that was the reason why I got into magic. The more then I started performing, I was going into weddings and events. I worked in Cameo in Bournemouth for
oh really
2.5 years. That was every Friday and Saturday night.
Busy nights then. Busy
nights, and I think, to be honest, that's it developed quite a sort of thick skin and my all-rounded sort of performance and nature, because I was dealing with people that were intoxicated at the best of times. So between the hours of 10 and midnight every Friday and Saturday night, I was in there. I was doing close-up magic, mix and mingle magic in one of the bars. But I was getting asked a lot, "What's my magic name?" And for me back then, I didn't really have one. So people said to me, "Well, what's your name?" I said, "It's Matt." And they said, "What about Magic Matt?" And I thought, no. we're too close to Magic Mike. And
to be fair, I understand that. That's
I didn't really want that sort of cliche attached to it. So at the time, there was a film that was around that I was watching called The Prestige.
I know that
Christian
film.
Bale.
Very good film, yeah.
One of the best magic films
really,
going.
Really good film.
And the lead character in there is actually a guy called Alfred.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So I loved his character. I loved his persona in the film, and I liked the name. I thought, you know what, if I need a magic name, it's got to be that. So it's got to be Alfie. And I changed then the business and a lot of the branding then around that. And since then, so since about 13 years ago, it's stuck, and the business has gone from strength to strength, and that name has sort of been synonymous with what I do, and it's just sort of gone with it now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you know, everywhere you hear, like you see online, Magic by Alfie, Magic by Alfie, Magic by Alfie. Never knew your surname the whole time. But so many people, you've built such a big clientele in Dorset. You've become really well known. And to the point where you've won an award recently, haven't you?
I have.
So you won the magician category in the National Wedding Industry Awards.
Yes.
Isn't that right? How was that?
A bit of a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big shock. I've been lucky enough to win several awards over the years, ranging from, the Dorset Wedding Awards was my first win back in 2018. And again, like with me getting into magic, that win of that first award was again like a drug.
Yeah.
I had a lot of recognition come through from it, and I loved it. So I was then going for every single award that I could sign up to. And it then led me to Southwest Wedding Awards, various other national ones. So over the years, I have won UK Wedding Magician of the Year under various other guises with awards. For me, though, the biggest award and the one that's really recognised in the wedding industry is the Wedding Industry Awards, so TWIA for short. And it was one that I put off. I always sort of saw it as the absolute pinnacle.
Yeah.
There's no way I could win that. And I think I was put forward actually by a client last year. They voted for me even before I'd signed up. And the organizer got in touch and said, you've actually just been voted for by one of your clients. It's definitely well worth you signing up to it and paying your fee and getting on board for the awards. So I did. And a few months later then, after sending out other votes then for the clients then to vote for me, so all of my clients that year, I was then invited to the Southwest Regional event. So that was held in Bath in November. And yeah, I was quite shocked to hear my name that I'd won that one.
Yeah.
And that then meant that a few months later then I was then invited to go up to London to the National Awards.
Yeah.
And that then meant 9 other magicians, 8 or 9 other magicians that were in that finalist category. And I thought, you know what, I've got no chance with this.
Yeah.
Some of the names on there were very, very big names. These are people that have been doing it a little bit longer than me. They've been doing it full time. And I thought, you know what, I'm here at the finals. That's enough recognition for me. I'm very proud of getting to that.
Yeah, it's a massive achievement.
And I was, as soon as my name was said at the front, I could not believe it at all. A big shock.
Amazing feeling. Yeah, absolutely. So all of these like well-known magicians as well, and for you to be recognised in that. And there's so much hard work that goes into that as well. Like I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't realise quite how much work. Obviously, you said you started in uni, but how long did it actually take you from starting to learn magic to maybe doing your first wedding or big event like that?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. And they say in anything, if you want to be a professional in something, you've got to put something like 10,000 hours of practice into whatever it might be, whether it's magic or car racing, anything like that. And to be honest, those 10,000 hours were put into those 2 years when I was at uni, supposed to be studying. And that was when I put all of that time and focus into it. And it was only then, 2 years later, I was then getting asked to go along and do weddings, corporate events, birthdays, etc. And I then thought, you know, if I can make a living out of this, that just further pushes my desire to want to do magic long term. And at the time, back at uni, obviously family, especially family and friends, they expect you to use your degree and go into something.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know, what did other people think when you'd gone and studied geography and then you suddenly was like, oh, no, actually, I want to be a magician? What was the reaction?
In all honesty, they said that I needed to get a real job. And I did. I had a real job for 15 years. So I completed my studies for undergrad geography. I then went back to uni 2 or 3 years later, and I studied then a master's in disaster management.
Wow.
Still didn't know what I wanted to do after that.
Yeah.
And I then landed myself a job in emergency planning. And that was with Dorset and Wiltshire Fire Rescue Service.
Yeah.
That's for the last 12 years. And I've had that full-time job as well as a full-time business for the last decade.
Yeah.
12 years. And it then got to a point late last year when I thought, I'm 35 now. I can't do 2 full-time jobs for the rest of my life. I'm just going to burn out. And I wanted to push magic a little bit more. I wanted to be able to network more. I wanted to be able to get the brand out there even more so. And I knew that something had to give. And I love my day job. It's what I've studied in. It's what I've known, to be honest, all of my adult life in terms of working. But this for me is the passion. And you only get one chance at it. And I thought, I need to do it. I need 100% my all into it to see where it goes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you've come so far from, but 2 very different things to be doing as well. I suppose magic is quite a sort of niche, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also what I was going to ask you about is you are part of the Magic Circle. Is that right? Which sounds like something from Harry Potter to me. So you're going to have to explain it. What is the Magic Circle? This is like a global society, isn't it? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
It is, yes. Anyone in the world can be invited to join and be put themselves forward to audition for membership.
You
as
have
part
to
of the Magic
audition.
Circle. You do.
Wow.
It's a difficult process.
Yeah.
Around the globe, we have, I think it's 1,650 members. So there's not many.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not like worldwide, but
no,
yeah.
Yeah. Literally in terms of the UK, I think you've got something like 300 members.
Wow.
And it's one of those things that you have to be proposed. So you have to have known someone that's a member of the Magic Circle for at least 2 years. Then you then have to be seconded by, again, someone that's a member that's known you for 2 years. You then have a over the phone interview. So this was during COVID. I had a call from the secretary of the Magic Circle, and they basically quiz you on your knowledge of magic and what books you've studied, what DVDs you've watched, who influences you in terms of other magicians. And once they then are happy that you sort of qualify as someone who is passionate about magic, it's only then that you then get asked to audition.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? That
Yeah.
you almost have to like pass a test, like an actual test before actually doing any sort of magic to qualify to get in there.
I guess with that, they don't just want Joe Public coming along just to become a member, just to learn the secrets and steal the secrets.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was going to ask as well, like you must have quite you've got the knowledge that obviously a magician never reveals their secrets. So it must be quite a nice community to be a part of as well, because you've got that sort of shared knowledge amongst you that can't really be broken out of the circle. So that must be quite interesting.
Yeah, it's a really nice community. And with that, so I'm a member of the Magic Circle, and I'm also a member of a more local club to Bournemouth, which is the Wessex Magical Association.
Okay.
So that was really the first magic club that I ever became part of. So I've been a member there now for 9, getting on for 10 years. And that for me was the sort of first opportunity to meet local magicians, share knowledge, talk about secrets of magic, and really just push myself into this brand new world of magic. But it's a real privilege to sort of be privy to a lot of these secrets that I can then, when I'm meeting with other magicians, be able to talk through these and share ideas with tricks and so on. It's quite special.
And so you were saying as well that but when you have to qualify to get into the Magic Circle, you talk about your like your biggest influencers, in the magic industry. Who did you used to look up to?
I think for me, the biggest one at the time, again, from uni days, was Darren Brown.
Yeah.
I'd seen him several times live, and if listeners or viewers haven't had a chance to see him live, it's incredible. A lot of people think, it's all TV trickery, but when you actually see a magician live, you dispel all of that. It's really something special. So he, for me, was a big influencer in terms of what I would do. And my performance sort of style was based loosely around that too, and the sort of street magic of people like David Blaine and Dynamo. And then along the way, I guess for me learning more, I've just sort of developed my own style of magic.
I was going to ask about that as well, actually, because I don't really know the difference. You might have to clear it up for me a little bit. There's different performance styles in magic as well, isn't there? I suppose you've got like up close magic, don't you? And then is like illusion something else, or do you have your own specific style? Is there lots of different ones as well? Yeah,
there is. I mean, you can be an illusionist, which I would sort of see as bigger stage illusions, so sawing people in half and so on. You might have mix and mingle sleight of hand magicians, so that's sort of close quarter kind of magic. You might have mentalists, so those are people that are mind readers.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
Hypnotists, there's an element of that. You might have pickpockets, lots and lots of different categories,
Yeah, and yours is more sort of the up close magic then. And why do you like doing weddings so much?
For me, it was my first gig. My first ever gig was a wedding, and it just felt the most natural sort of performance setting for me. You're already part of a couple's magical day anyway. To be able to go along then and add to that magic just felt synonymous with what I did back then and that passion. And the nice thing as well with weddings, I think more so than corporate events or private functions, is that the magic that's then performed at the wedding, people then remember that. They'll remember it for the rest of the day. It generates conversation. It's that icebreaker, but it's also then remembered weeks down the line, months, and even years. And one of the sort of most humbling things for me is if I see wedding clients at wedding fairs now, out and about in the middle of the shops, they'll say, our guests are still talking about the magic that you did at the wedding, and this might be 10 years later.
Yeah.
So it's such a powerful thing, magic, and to be able to share that at a wedding day with family and friends is
Yeah, well, I suppose that's really good about like the close-up magic as well, is that it's quite a sort of intimate setting, and then people do remember you. And I suppose for your job as well, a lot of your business comes from word of mouth, and obviously you had excellent reviews and you've built your business essentially in Dorset, haven't you? Is that where you started? Do you travel quite a lot for your weddings, or do you just sort of stick to Dorset?
No, I do. I'd like to try and stay as close to Dorset as I can. But since winning various awards over the year, and obviously more recently the Wedding Industry Award, it's pushed my reach out a lot further. So now I'm having inquiries come through from Birmingham, Manchester, all up and down the country. I'm yet to do anything abroad, but I am open to destination weddings. So if anyone's getting married in Spain or Mauritius, I'll be there. I could do with topping up my tan. But yeah, anywhere.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be amazing. Would you mind showing us a trick or two?
Yeah, we can do something.
That would be great.
Yeah,
I mean, if we could do it sort of now on the podcast, I think people would love to see it.
That.
We've obviously filming, so people can watch this on YouTube, and I think they would really enjoy it.
I've not brought lots along with me.
No, don't worry. We just want to get a little taste of what you do. That would be great.
Okay. So before I left the house today, about 1:20, I took a deck of cards. I spread them out on the kitchen table at home, and at random, I took out one card, turned it over, and took a picture of that card. Which card did I take a picture of? I'll give you a clue. It wasn't the Joker. Any card.
Any card.
Any card.
The 6 of diamonds.
How do you know that?
Oh,
was that a free choice? You happy with that?
Yeah. It just first thing that came
to my head. Do you want to change
your
mind? I mean, 9 of hearts, 4 of clubs, Jack of spades.
No, I'm going with the 6 of diamonds. Don't know why it just came to my head.
Would you then be amazed if that is the only picture on my phone?
Well, yeah, because I just chose that.
Free choice, isn't it?
No, yeah.
Do you want to change? You're happy?
No, I am going to stick with that.
Okay. Sure?
Absolutely sure.
Okay. So genuinely, earlier on today, I took a picture of one card.
One card.
We're going to go on to photos.
Yeah. Should we see if the camera can pick this up as well?
Come on here.
Yeah, we can always
Albums.
zoom in.
If I scroll down, one card. I don't know if you can see that.
I can see that.
We have the 6 of diamonds. What time did I take that as well? Under today, what does it say?
22 minutes past 1.
About an hour.
Today.
About an hour ago.
I'm not even going to ask because I don't want to know how you've done it, because that is just.
But it felt like a free choice. You didn't feel influenced in any way.
I literally just said the first thing that came into my head. And I have no idea why I chose the 6 of diamonds either. That's incredible.
So it's exactly that, knowing that, I can influence people to think or do things without them even realising they're doing it. And magic goes a lot further than that as well. That's quite a small close-up trick for me. But in recent years, I've now sort of pushed my magic a little bit further, especially in the wedding world, to then get into hosting too. So very similar to what a host or an MC or a Toastmaster would do on the day. So all the announcements, but then including magic within that. So it's quite a new thing now to weddings or for weddings. But a lot of my work now moving forward is me there on the day as a magical host.
Yeah.
So you get all the benefits of the entertainment anyway during the quiet periods of the day. But I'm then on hand to do the announcements into the wedding breakfast room. Yeah. So you've probably seen the videos on TikTok where people waving napkins. Yeah. So all of that, comparing the speeches, a cabaret show to the whole room as well. And again, the magic then for that is very much like the Derren Brown kind of magic on stage to the whole room.
So you have to be quite versatile for that. And also, I was going to ask you as well, to do this, go to weddings and you're speaking to a lot of people, you're approaching a lot of people and doing something, that is going to completely blow their minds. You have to have a lot of confidence to do that, and you have to be able to deliver that very well. How have you sort of built up? I suppose, were you always this confident, or did you? No,
not at all.
It's always hard when you start out, I suppose. So it's like, how did you sort of build that confidence to be able to do this?
The confidence has come over the years. Naturally, me outside of magic and me as Matt, as people now know me, I'm very, very introverted. But as soon as I've got a deck of cards in my hand or I'm at a wedding or event, I'm now Alfie and I'm a completely different person.
A persona. Yeah.
And it's exactly that. And I can snap in and out of it very, very quickly. But I think for me, the confidence was when I first started performing magic, people loved it and they gravitated towards it. And it just fueled then that desire for me to learn more and more. And it's not just the trick. I think the trick is maybe 20% of what you see ever. I think a good 80% of it is built up of the confidence of the performer, the interaction you have with them as well, and generating that sort of morale, their dress sense, all sorts. I think that the trick itself is such a small part the other 80% is way more important to bring that through and deliver that trick as maximum sort of impact.
Yeah, I suppose being at like clubs and stuff like that must have built that confidence quite a lot as well. Yeah, when you're starting out. Yeah, for sure. That's really interesting. And so you've said you've like moved on to doing like hosting stuff now. What's the sort of long-term goal for you? You seem to have like obviously built up quite a lot recently with your awards and you're becoming much more well-known. What about sort of, 5-year, 10-year goals? What's on the cards?
So I mentioned earlier about the day job. I had that for just over a decade, and only up until recently now, magic is all I do full time. So I'm a very lucky position where I can now say this is my full-time job.
Yeah,
and I get
amazing.
paid for entertaining. I do still have a little bit of free time, and I'm not one of these people to sit around doing nothing, watching TV. I've always got to be doing something. And 2 years ago, for me, hosting was a sensible move. A lot of magicians are now moving away from purely magic to magical hosting, because it gives bride and grooms and corporate couples so much more in terms of value on the day.
Yeah.
We're not purely just there now to entertain guests. That has its value in itself. But I think you bring so much more. You bring an element of helping out with planning for the wedding, the on-the-day coordination. You take all the stress away from the guys and girls on the day because you're handling the mic, you're introducing people. So I think for me, moving forward, I'm going to be pushing a lot more with the hosting side of things for weddings. Recently as well, I've now started investing in myself in terms of developing a talk. And I'd like then to be able to deliver that at corporate events and conferences in the future. And the basis of the talk is something very, very close to my heart. So following COVID, I actually suffered with anxiety and mild depression. And for a number of years, we couldn't pinpoint what it was. So I had some very, very quite terrifying symptoms that I felt over those years. And I didn't find that I was able to get the help from GPs or private practitioners. And it was something I had to sort of look within and listen to podcasts like this, really to understand that all it was, and I say all it was anxiety. And I thought, how can I have anxiety? Like I'm such a confident person when I go out and perform. There's no way I can have anxiety.
I was going to say you just don't. You would never realise it, would you? But I suppose you can't. You can never judge someone just.
Anyone can suffer with anxiety, whether
absolutely.
it's mild or extreme cases of it. And it took me a long, long time to figure that out. And for me, then I always like the idea of being able to add a talk into what I do. But I didn't just want it to be about the magic. I didn't just want it to be about my years of performing or part of the magic circle or any of the awards. It needed a bit more substance to it. So the talk is going to be about magical performance and the impact on mental health. And basically my struggle with anxiety over the years and how I then look to overcome that and what individual and also businesses can do to better improve awareness of mental health, whether it's an organizational sort of change or purely just for individuals.
Yeah, that's incredible as well, because you've taken something that is, a very difficult time, something that's quite dark for you, and you've turned it into something, and especially to incorporate that into magic, that is, a niche. But then what if people suddenly think, oh, why don't I give this a go as well? And then you build your confidence from that.
Exactly. And I think the biggest sort of overcome of that anxiety for me was openly talking about it. And if I'd have had this conversation 3 years ago and I was suffering with that anxiety, I might not have brought it up because I didn't really see the value in bringing up what I felt was a problem that I didn't really want to tell the world. But since opening up a lot more about it, symptoms have virtually now gone. It's amazing what the mind can do to you under these sort of, under anxiety and mental health.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the fact that you've just sort of like opened that up, that's, we're really grateful for that. And the viewers are going to be very grateful for that as well, because you are obviously quite well known in the area. And one of the questions that we always like to ask people on the podcast as well is, were you born and bred in Dorset? Have you been here forever? So what does Dorset mean to you?
Yeah, so I was born in Bournemouth. I moved away several times for university. So I studied in Southampton and then London. Dorset for me has always felt like home. I know people that have moved all over the world for work, but I think now where I've built the reputation and the business, as much as I might want to move to somewhere super exotic, it just, for me, it'd take all of that hard work again to build myself in wherever it might be. Dorset for me just feels like home next to the sea, and it's all I've known. I've got family and friends here. I work with some incredible wedding suppliers, venues. It just feels like home for me.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Cool. Right, can we try this with yourself? All I'm going to do, I'm going to whip through the cards. Just say stop anytime you like.
Stop.
Okay, take out the card. Don't tell me what it is, but just show everyone else. Everyone got it? Yeah, and now just pop it back anywhere you like. Lovely. Good. Tell you what, let's give these a mix with my eyes closed, which is actually more difficult than it looks. You should now bring your card to the top. Remember your card?
Yeah.
Is that the card?
No, was it? No, it wasn't.
No?
No.
Oh. Okay, okay. Do you remember the card?
Yeah, I do. I know it didn't seem like it, but I do.
Okay. Let's try it another way. Do you reckon you could send me that card via Wi-Fi? Have you ever done that before?
I'm not sure I have done that before. No, don't think so. Could I?
Okay. If you remember the card,
Yeah.
One of your index fingers, either left or right hand,
Mm-hmm.
just hold it against your temple then. Just really, really think of that card.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have we got Wi-Fi here?
Yes.
Let's have a look what we got. Oh, yeah, there's a few, isn't there? Which one are you guys on here? Dorset View?
Yeah, it's Dorset View.
Actually.
I need a password.
No, that's okay. So you're thinking of that at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
yeah? And really, really
Still
visualise now that thought being transmitted to that exact point on your finger.
Mm-hmm.
You done that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, now bring it away from your head. Just touch that. Okay. Take a look. Is that your card?
Let's see. Can you guys see it? Yes, it definitely is.
Three of Hearts.
That's unbelievable.
That's taken over everything down here. Tesco's Wi-Fi's gone, all the Wi-Fi's here. But people think, well, hang on, this is the magician's phone. Maybe there's something going on, maybe this is a video, maybe this is a screenshot. But you've probably got your phone on you. You've probably got yours and yours. Grab your phone out. Turn off the Wi-Fi, go back on. We'll have a look, see how many you've managed to influence. What are you on here?
Oh my God.
You've done a lot.
Incredible.
There you go. You got a powerful mind.
Wow. Yeah, that was all me, guys. Just so you know. That was my index finger. Wow.
Got it?
Got it.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
There you go. Who's in charge of your IT here?
Yeah.
They're not really best pleased with that.
Wow.
Wow. There you go.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really well done.